What is up, people? Welcome once again to the Max Factor. And we are extremely fortunate to have a fantastic friend here today, Mr. Michael Bernoff. He is a world-renowned, I'm going to call him, change maker. He helps
I
people
like
to
it.
make absolutely amazing changes in their lives. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike to tell you a little bit more about himself.
I love it. And I get an opportunity to be the change maker today. So I appreciate, Bryan, you having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. And change is one of those things. It's funny when you say the word change, it gets you to think like who actually really wants the change. A lot of people say they do, but it's typically not something people say that I want. So if I really were to market this correctly, I'm one of those people that has mastered a couple of very simple things and a lot I have not figured out, but I've figured out how to get people to get different results in their life and wind up literally making subtle shifts in their communication, in their confidence, in what they do to get them not just change, but to get their life to show up differently than it currently does. So that's the quick version to get me out of the whole change thing. But at the end of the day, when things are different, you definitely did change.
That's amazing. I'll tell you because, in what we do, helping people to basically transform and overcome obstacles and get into the absolute best shape of their lives. So many of the people that come into us, and so many people that have never yet to step into one of our facilities, they've got treadmills, they've got DVDs, they've got gym memberships, they've got self-help audios and videos and all this stuff. And why don't people take action? And how do you help them to finally make a breakthrough and move their life forward?
You're definitely talking my language. That's been my shtick for almost 20 years right now, is that I think everyone knows what they need to do. It's funny, you scour the internet, you get on podcasts, you're looking for that formula, that answer, like, what do I need to do? At the end of the day, getting in shape or being healthy or, making a relationship work, it is simple stuff. Anyone and their mother could write a book on lower your caloric intake, work out a little bit more, go to drive by the drive-through. That's one of the things people need to do. Stop driving in, drive by the damn thing, and you're going to be more effective. People know what they need to do. It's why do they not take the action isn't even the answer. It's how do you get yourself to act? And if you think about like the biggest reasons why is most people are seeking out there a formula for how to get themselves to do things. And the real answer of how to get someone to take action is that who you are currently in your life, and I'll talk about this a little bit more later if it comes up, who you are currently in your life is designed to do what you're currently doing. And most people have built a life for themselves to perpetuate what it is they currently have. So if I were to get somebody to take action and on a new subject, like something like working out, and they were having such trouble getting themselves to do it, I wouldn't get them going to the gym. I would get them taking any action they could. So the neural pathways in the brain are already take action, get things done, clean your desk, do your laundry. And right in the middle of that, when they're in the middle of that prime moment of them actually doing what they need to do, then I insert the new idea. And that's where I think a lot of people go wrong. Forcing a human being to do something with like a whip and like a bullhorn, like Club Med back in the day, like time to work out. That doesn't get somebody to work out, right? What gets a human being to do something different is understanding inside of the brain what makes them take the actions they do. Because even inaction is an action.
That's really amazing. It reminds me, I found that with the Max Challenge as an example, if when people get there for the first day, the only really reason that we have that first day, day one of the class, it's a 50-day program, is to help them make the decision to come day two. Then they come
That's
day
good.
three, then they come, when they get to day five, it's like they have these new life references that support a new internal dialogue, sort of, right? So that mini
Yes.
success of making it through day one encourages them to come day two. But when you have 5 days in a row, it's like, wow, a whole string of successes that are tied together. It's like almost like a chain of success over the course of that week. And then they're like, man, that feels so fantastic. That feels so great. They're looking for that feeling next week. So that keeps them coming back the next week and the week after until they literally reinvent themselves from the inside out.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because that's literally really what it's about. It's about really changing what your identity is and how you see what it is that you do. And by getting somebody to perpetuate a new habit or a new average, as we call it, what happens with that is you take a person that doesn't do something normally and you ask them to do something that isn't normal for them. Their body is going to do everything in its power to stop it. I will tell you that your successes are more of the thing that gets in your way than your failure. And the reason I say that is like we all have this idea, and I'm going to just go off a deep end real quick with this because it's what you're dealing with as business owners, as people looking to get to the gym, people want to get ahead in the world. There gets to be a day where you say to yourself, and I'm like drawing this line right here, where you say to yourself, I'm never going to do that ever again in my life. Like I'm never, ever, ever going to do that thing. Like I'll never go back to that type of relationship. I'll never go back to that overweightness. I'll never go back to that job. And you draw this line and go, I will never go back. And at the same moment, you build this wall in front of you that says, that's what I want. And if you think about most conversations at dinner, or here's what I don't want, here's what I do want. What do I want in a relationship? I'll never do that. Here's what I want. And we build these walls in our life that surround our existence, and it's who we become. So like when you bring somebody new into one of your locations, they have a predetermined them that they are. And our job is to expand upon that, because the other walls that really lock you in, and if you want, I can elaborate on it more later, is one is your identity, how you see you on a regular basis. You spend the majority of your life, you, me, everybody, living out who we are. Like, it's an overweight person lives the life of an overweight person. A healthy person lives the life of a healthy person. Somebody that's great at video games lives the life of somebody that's great at video games. And then we secretly, the last wall, we put people in our lives that help us stay who it is we are, because our main focus in life is how do we make it easy and be who it is we are consistently. And that's what makes life easy. That's what we do. That's our brain's main function.
I've been around self-development my entire life. It's a big part of who I am, but I've never heard it described exactly the way that you just described it. And I find that to be incredibly helpful. So, yeah, I'm telling you, like, if people just took 10% of this, right, and applied it, their lives would propel like to heights never before. So when you talk about this average, I've got this shirt, right? And it says Michael Bernoff. Above it says average sucks. Tell me a little bit about this.
You can't get any more direct, right? So
I love it.
Yeah, so I live in Arizona now, but I'm definitely from Jersey. I even have it as a license plate. So it's the title of my book coming out, which when that comes out, I'll definitely want to get back on the show and share it with everybody. I get pulled over all the time, and not by the cops, but people will stop me and like, roll down the window. And I'm in Arizona. You got to watch it. Everyone's got guns, right? So I'm wondering, like, what does this guy want? And he goes, dude, I love your license plate, man. Average sucks. Like, you're right. Be better than average. Be better than them. You can do it, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's great, but do you know what it means? And they're like, well, yeah, I'm better than you. And my answer is simple, is what average sucks really means is that you have an average of what you do. Like Bill Gates is the most average Bill Gates in the world. Like he does what he does. He makes the billions he makes. Sam Walton's the same thing when he was alive. Steve Jobs when he was alive. We have the most average Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, the most average version of themselves. But your average will never make you happy, because your brain, when it says, I want more, your current average of how you play and what you do will never make you happy. So when I say average sucks, is that you've got to say, I got an average, I've got what I do on a regular basis, but it's not who I am. It's only a piece of me. So our goal is to develop the average you want, not the average that you're stuck with already.
That's fantastic. I'll tell you, I'm wondering if you could help me with this. So I'm gonna
let's go. Let's solve it. I got a couch. Have you lay down? Solve your problem, right?
You know those ones where someone goes, "I've got this friend," right? I got a friend. But friend.
It reminds me of the Brady Bunch. Is it Joe Glass? Remember the Brady Bunch episode? Yeah, I'm dealing with Joe Glass. Yeah. Let's make up a fake name for this friend.
All right, so I've got this friend, and this friend is making, let's say, a good amount of money, right? This person's making $280,000 a year. She's doing fantastic, but she's short of her goal by, let's say, 250 members. Short of this, like this line that she's made in, this goal that she set. to get it from X to Y, right? So, how do you encourage somebody who, by every stretch of the imagination, is successful, is changing lives, is impacting so many people, but yet they've got this bar that they've set for themselves, and I get it to not be satisfied, but to not be happy. Like, how do people remain happy but yet still goal oriented?
Well, let me give you a frame, and this is my frame for my entire existence of life. There's like 5 things going on here at once. So this would be like fix my business is what area, right? So this is an interesting frame. Everything in life, all of life, is held in the context of communication, like how it is being communicated. So the word happiness has a definition associated with it. It's an idea, it's a concept that means something in particular to this person. So we have a big sign in our office downstairs that's going up. It's gorgeous, and it basically says your future, which is not your goals. Your future is way bigger than goals. Like your future is like you until you're dead, right? Your future is everything, right? Your future is hinged like a door on your ability to effectively communicate with yourself and others. So what happiness means is why this woman is unable to succeed and be happy. So her definition of happiness is what's called impossible to gain. So I'll give you an example. Like, let's just talk about what I really do. Like, changing the way you view and feel about things are awesome. So when somebody dies, and it happens in our lives, people pass, what happens is that when somebody passes, if your definition of death is, it's over, I can never have a relationship with that person again, you're probably going to have a lot of heartache and pain, which is fine. It's very reasonable to have that reaction. Socially, that is what we're born into typically as human beings. That is what death is. There are cultures that their definition of death is you now have a new and different relationship with this person. It's a relationship that doesn't involve talking on a regular basis, but they're there differently. What happens is when that definition of what death is offers a different emotional construct. I don't sound like the Arizona State guy right now. I sound more like the Harvard or Princeton guy with those big words. But at the end of the day is happiness to this person probably is something constructed that's challenging. So when I were to like go in your brain and find your dictionary, most people's definition of success is like a franchisee, for an example, would be like, paying back my initial investment, having unlimited customers in here, and my wife being happy or my husband being happy with me, and my dog liking me, and my kids doing well at school, no one being sick, and liking my daughter's boyfriend. What are the odds all that's going to happen at once? People that are very happy on a regular basis find easy ways to be happy. Like me, my old definition of success was getting everything done and doing what I want, when I want, with whomever I want, for as long as I want, without worrying about the price. The problem with that is I didn't have that currently. So I didn't realize that emotional happiness is an emotion. It's something you can't go get. It's something you can be. And I've learned how to be happy by little things make me happy. Like having a chance to spend a few minutes with my kids makes me happy. Not getting frustrated with my business makes me happy. Making millions makes me happy. Things that I've done, like getting a new car, makes me happy. Or, appreciating that I'm not wasting money makes me happy. So her definition is probably this big and requires 8 million things, and there's one way to get there. I have to make $800,000 a year or I'm not going to be happy. Versus happiness could be having a great month, or being profitable, or having, hiring a great team, or recognizing what I've created or what I'm doing, or helping a person. How hard it is to make what it is you want is how happy you're going to be. And most people have made happiness very challenging.
So with that, what advice could you give, or feedback could you give for somebody who's, on the path to success?
Yep.
And obviously the path to success, most of us know, it's not a straight line up, right? It's kind of that squiggly line that we see all over the place. Yeah, wiggling all in and out,
Yep.
Twisting all around. And, they get caught up in this emotional side of the emotional challenges that come along on the road to success. How do you deal with those emotions? How do you keep yourself positive and focused on the future?
Well, let's talk about what emotions are for a minute, and I'm going to give you a different way of looking at things. And I can positive you to death, and I can lie to you, and I can tell you to watch The Secret, and I can tell you a bunch of nonsense. But if I were to tell you what emotions are and what really happens is our brain and our heart are not really in alignment. Like men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Your brain is from one planet, your heart's from another. So like your heart's like, boom, 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 I want to be rich. And your brain's like, sounds great. How you going to do it, idiot? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, can I show you 50 ways you screwing up last time? How about I show you HD of your last relationship that never worked out? Or how about I show you the gold coin thing? Remember when you did Amway, right? Like your brain is gonna totally screw up the passion play of what's going on. So what I do when I'm working with somebody that's dealing with this stuff is getting them to recognize the misrepresentation of what's going on. There is a signal going on that most of us don't appreciate. The day your life changes is the day you decide you're not where you want to be. When you finally say, enough is enough, I'm going to change it. Everyone knows that. You finally get married, you finally get divorced, you finally, have the tough conversation with your kid, you finally decide to go into business for yourself, you leave your job, whatever it is. Nobody decides to do anything when everything's working out great. I've never met a human being like, you didn't start your business because everything was wonderful. I want to go start a business because everything's wonderful. Nobody does that. Nobody on earth. But what people do is they have things happen. So I'll give you a prime example. It's a change in perspective, and then I can probably re-answer your question one more time. This will help people in a big way. So the best example I can give is when you gain 10 pounds. You look down, you see it on your waist. Guys usually get it on their side. Girls, get it in their legs and stuff. The reaction of most people, like guys, it's like, yeah, whatever, wear your belt a little looser. Girls get mad, complain. A lot of times, stereotypically, they'll, get a bigger size something, or they get Ben and Jerry's, they complain about it, and they get mad, right? It's depressing. Or if you look at your bank account, it's not where you want it to be. Like that woman, Julie, that we made up from Brooklyn, right? Julie, if her bank account's not where she wants it to be and she's looking at Bank of America, she gets depressed or down. Or your neighbor's got the same job you have, or another franchisee, they're on a yacht trip this week. What the hell are they doing that you're not doing? You get jealous. What if I said the majority of our problems are misfired emotions inside of ourselves? And if you can own this, it's huge. So when you gain 10 pounds, that is your body saying, buddy, let me help you real quick. You need to get to the gym. I'm going to make you uncomfortable so you remember to go. I'm not trying to make you mad, but I do want to urge you. When you look at your bank account, it's not where you want it to be. That is your body saying, idiot, do something, be motivated. I don't want you to feel bad, because as human beings, we're driven by pain. Okay, we're driven by, like most decisions you've made in your life is because things sucked. Or when you're jealous because your neighbor's doing better than you, you can look at it and go, well, I guess they're better than me. Or wait a second. If I became a better communicator, I could learn how to do what they're doing and I could have it too. So most people that are frustrated don't recognize the frustration is telling you you're still not there yet. It's okay. We need to keep going. And a lot of people don't want to accept it's just part of the process. It's like thinking death shouldn't be in life. It's part of the process. So being frustrated, I wish I could whisk it all away, but it wouldn't be worth it. I mean, as human beings, getting what you want is easier than you realize to get whatever it is you're looking for. But if it was always easy, you'd be bored. So the frustration is part of what makes it rewarding.
So this communicating piece that you're talking about, it's not just communicating with the outside world, with your friends, your family, your employees. It's mostly what you're talking about here is how you're communicating with yourself.
Yep. Like, what does the word frustration mean? Frustration means it's over, it's horrible. Maybe you need to change the word. Like I call it gradient language. Like frustration's here. Are you annoyed or frustrated? Two different things. Are you frustrated or depressed? This is like, you've got to be really selective with your language. My daughter will say, it's the worst day of my life. Well, what happened? Julie was mean at school today. I promise you that's not the worst day of your life. This is what people do. They use a blanket word. Like people think they're not good at marketing. We're marketing to ourselves all the time. Like we're always marketing. Like when we grew up, nobody had anxiety. I didn't know a 9-year-old with anxiety. But now it's like, hey, you having a bad day? That's anxiety. Your mom didn't let you buy something? Anxiety. You did bad in your spelling test? That's anxiety. All it is things aren't working out. We're coupling it as anxiety. So as humans, we communicate very ineffectively, and we have not, as a species, really accepted the impact of certain words. As marketers, we know this. Like, you know this from the fitness business. There's a big difference between, like, women typically are not looking to get ripped. They want to get toned. Am I correct?
That's
it's very different. You told a woman, like, hey, let's go get ripped. Like she thinks you're going to go get drunk, right? Like, what are you talking about? Like the key is women want to get toned. Guys want to get shredded. Okay. It's a different word. It brings a different meaning in the body. So when somebody's frustrated, one of the first things I'd ask is this the most frustrating day of your life? No, it's just not good. So not good and frustrated have a different emotional response. We have to realize how much control we have over this.
And from what I'm gathering, from what you're saying, it's incredibly important for people to recognize these internal responses and then use it to their advantage, use that energy to their advantage in order to realize there's an opportunity on the other side of this.
Yes. Yes. And positive thinking works to a point. Effective living works a lot better. And part of that is just really owning your life and owning what you're capable of, and really just owning your communication. What I mean by owning your communication is, what I mean by that is like owning that you're in control of it, that whatever you're feeling, you're dealing with because you're choosing those words, you're choosing that language. Like the idea of your relationship, like I'm married, my wife's in the other room. I have verbiage to describe my relationship. When we go reconnect again, how our relationship is how I've been verbalizing to myself what my relationship is. It's fascinating.
It's amazing. So I know, like with weight loss as an example,
Yep.
so many people get in this habit of taking a step backwards. Right? In other words,
Yep.
they go out, they join, let's say, Jenny Craig or Weight Watchers or or just the local gym, and it doesn't work for them, so they take a step backwards. I think that could kind of be traced, all this habit of taking a step backwards in the face of a challenge could be traced all the way back to childhood. I think for a lot of people, like in our program as an example, they're in gym class, the gym teacher asks them to do a pull-up or to climb that rope. Remember that rope?
I got a story about this, blow your mind.
And they take a step back, and to the point where they don't even want to go to gym class. They're sick on the day that there's gym in school because they're afraid they're going to be put in this position again where they have to be asked to climb a rope. They're not going to be able to do it. They experience these emotions. There's this association between this emotion and this activity, and this activity that happened to them when they were like in grade school, in fifth grade, carries forward for the rest of their life, and now they don't understand why they enrolled in the gym, but they never go. And every time they go, they get a pit in their stomach, butterflies in their stomach, and a lump in their throat.
You're dealing with, like, when we were kids growing up, there were the reference books at the library. Inside of our brains is a dictionary, an encyclopedia, and an atlas. Like a map how to get where you want to go, but if you've never been there before, it's a blank map. Like I've never been all over Europe, right? But I've been all over New Jersey. I've been all over Arizona. I've been all over California. I got a pretty good map for those things. I don't have a map so you want to talk about accuracy with what you said. It's either you read my mind or you read the transcript of my book. I remember 7 years old, I went to Dwyer Elementary, and Mr. Pearson, like you can remember these days vividly, says, today is the presidential physical fitness test. I'm like, oh my God, Ronald Reagan's going to be here, or Carter, whoever it was. Like, I didn't know, right? And they're like, we are going to beat Russia. Cause like Rocky and Drago, like it was all like this whole thing, right? So he goes, Mr. Anderson, time to do a pull-up. And I'm Bernoff. So like, I'm very impatient, my last name, because if your first name starts with a B, like you're impatient. If your last name starts with a Z, we've learned that you're very patient because you never get called on, right? So Bernoff, Baker, do a pull-up. And I'm like, oh, this will be easy. And I'm like, it ain't working. And then like I got hypnotized by that instructor. The teacher goes, Mr. Bernoff, if you're unable to do a pull-up, just hang there. And I'm like, and then I get off and I'm like, damn, I'm not good at that. Because nobody taught me how. And then my buddy Courtney gets up there. And if you're a boy named Courtney, you got to be good at this, right? So it's like 50 pull-ups, right? And I'm like, that day I decided they can and I can't. Peak emotional experience. And I spent literally till I was 35 years old, and I started doing Spartan races and realizing I'm strong. I've been an athlete. I can't do a damn pull-up. I had every excuse in the world. And then I realized I've never actually tried. And I recognized, I found out, you know where pull-ups come from? Grip. I didn't have grip strength. I was missing back and grip strength. I was trying to do it with my biceps and my tries and my strength. And you know what I did? I hired a grip coach and I could do pull-ups now. I literally spent
That's awesome.
30 years of my life believing I can't do something. And then I realized something else. How many other things have I BS'd myself about? If I made up
love
stories?
it, man. You know what? That reminds me of take that same story and apply it to sales, right? Mm-hmm. How many people are walking around saying, I can't make a cold call. I can't, knock on that door. I'm not good at. I
Yep.
can't close. That's not me. People here are
No.
different. All these excuses over and over again.
Yeah, and
But
if
it
you
comes
think,
down to technique. I mean, you had to find a grip instructor, and
yep,
that helped you to learn the technique that you needed in order to build the strength in order to do it. It
yep.
wasn't you weren't defective in any way. Do
No,
you
I
find
had a
that to be?
story. I had a picture in my head that was bothering me. A picture of me being embarrassed and turning bright red as a kid in my head. A little picture from 32 years ago that was messing up everything.
That's crazy.
And that's what we all
So,
have.
yeah, and it applies to every aspect of our lives.
Everything. You have like most of us don't recognize your entire life is a series of pictures, sounds, and feelings. That's all you're dealing with. Everything that you think about, your relationship with your brother, your mother, your aunt, your uncle, your cousins are a series of pictures, sounds, and feelings unless you're physically with them. And how you hold those pictures, sounds, and feelings in your brain, what they are is the impact that you have in your life. So like a
So let's say
salesperson.
that
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, let's say that you had this salesperson. You ask them, okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, rate me where you think you fall in terms of your sales ability, and they give it a 2, right? So they're facing a lot of anxiety, a lot
Yep.
of fear, a lot of,
Yep.
when they're going into this situation,
Yep.
they're coming up with all these BS stories basically on why they can't do it.
Yep.
How would you help that person to overcome that BS
Well,
story?
it's an identity thing. I mean, I could force you to get out and do it, but your identity is your identity. We all have scripts. It's like a kid wouldn't stop there. Do you know what I'm saying? An adult does. It's sort of like I remember reading this Moshe Feldenkrais book years ago called The Elusive Obvious. And in the book, he said, you take a 7-year-old kid or a 5-year-old kid, you ask them what they like to eat, they'll give you a quick answer. Pizza, macaroni and cheese, favorite color, blue, pink, purple. You ask an adult their favorite food, how long is that going to take? Well, where are we going? I mean, what do you like? What do I like? It's like color. Where do I put the color? What's going on? Like adults can't make decisions. And the reason we can't make decisions to change is because if you somewhere along the line somebody comes into your life, and this is where I believe the problem happens. I think there's like this magic moment in our life. I was absent 2 days in school, and I'll tell you about these 2 days in a second. Is somebody comes in your life well-meaning around 6 or 7 years old, and they say to you, so Bryan, you seem like a pretty good person and you're doing well in the world right now. Instead of having a personal education, understanding yourself, how about I give you a social education of how to be? And they started telling you who you are. So the days I was absent is the day they taught success. I missed that day in school. Were you there that day? I missed that day.
I don't remember that day either.
I think they missed that. I think they taught it to like maybe the prep school kids. I don't know. My kids go to prep school. Maybe they'll teach that. Number 2 day I was absent. The day they decided who I was, and I went along with it. And what's interesting is I swear to God, you go to bed at night, you have a script, right? Next to your bed called Who I Was Today, and you put it down and go, I'm going to change that tomorrow. And then you wake up in the morning and go, who was I yesterday? And then you be that again. Most great salespeople are good at selling. And what most people don't recognize is most people that think they suck at sales are actually great at selling you why they suck at sales. They're just selling the wrong thing. They're selling you how bad they are, adamant and persuasive and so damn influential. I had a lady once go, I'm not motivating. I go, you are so good at sales, you have actually depressed an entire room full of people. So instead of selling depression, let's sell gym and you get rich. So
I love it.
I think, and I know to be true, that in your life, there's no such thing as of anything that's a bad idea. Like procrastination, I think is a wonderful thing. Quitting is a great thing. Like people say quitting's bad. If you can quit Little League, you can quit smoking. I think if you can procrastinate, you could learn how to procrastinate on not overeating. So I think we just use the wrong things at the wrong time. So what you're doing is this person is selling the wrong thing. They're selling heavily why they can't sell instead of realizing they're just uncomfortable. That's all it is. It's different.
I love it, and I agree with it 100%. How do you, that uncomfortable piece, though, right? How did I'll give you a quick example. This is actually myself. When I started my first business, I was 18 years old, and it
Nice.
was a membership business, a little gym, right?
Nice.
It was next to a chicken place, fried chicken.
Okay.
And
Thinking
literally,
Jersey, I know there's a chicken place there with that name. I was thinking that chicken place. Okay.
every day, people would pull up into the parking lot, and literally, as I sat there at the front counter looking out the window, I would hope that they were going, I'd say, oh shit, someone's coming in here to, buy a membership. And then they'd go next door to the chicken joint and I'd say, oh, thank goodness they're going to get chicken. And here I'm a business owner, motivated enough to rent the store, put my name on the line, put everything I had on the line, take the few $1,000s, put it on the line. But yet the fear of being rejected, the fear of someone saying no to my membership presentation was great enough to stop me from stepping forward until I reframed it and said, you know what, like I owe it to people to go out and to not only invite people in and enroll them in the program, but to seek people because, it's literally about changing people's lives. It's not about the yes or the no. It's about changing people's lives. So I sort of kind of like, I don't know if this would work for anyone else, but I tricked my brain. I tricked my brain into saying, it's not about me. It's about that I have this gift to help people overcome whatever is standing in the way of their own personal health, possibly save their lives, impact all the people around them. I really extrapolated it and made it bigger than not really bigger than it was because it is that big. If somebody's coming in and they have the potential of developing diabetes or being overweight to the extent that they're not even getting up out of the here is an opportunity to impact their lives and impact the lives of all the people around them. So once I started thinking of it that way, it became a lot easier. But that doesn't work for everybody. Do you have any ideas for people?
You changed your identity whether you realize it or not. The reason I bring this up is number first, you really have to want to do it. I mean, if you don't want to sell, you shouldn't bother with it. I'm just be honest. I mean, it's not for everybody. And a lot of people think that, oh, anybody can do it. Anybody can do it if they really want to do it. I was talking, I think I mentioned this the other day. I play hockey now 3 times a week. And I used to play as a kid growing up and I was never a goal scorer. Like I was always a kid that played and I let everyone else score goals and I had every excuse why I'm not good at it. No different than sales. And this is the change that I made. And this could relate to sales in a big way. I'm sitting here as an adult playing in an adult league and I'm still not scoring goals. And I'm like, why don't I score goals? I shoot the puck. They shoot the puck. Why am I not scoring? And I'm like, I never actually tried to score goals. I just would shoot the puck and hope it went in. What do goal scorers do? Well, goal scorers push the puck past the line. I'm shooting, they're shooting, but they push to get it in. And one day I just flipped the switch. It happened over a course of a couple of days. And I said, you know what? If I were to show up as a goal scorer right now, and if I really wanted to be one, what would I do? And I said, well, I'd just put the puck in the net. And in the last 100 days, I scored an average of 2 to 3 goals a game now. It's crazy. I'm the same guy, and I've been using it in my whole life. So I used to not sell, then I sold. So one is willingness to change the identity of who you are and how you're seen. It's a scary thing. I mean, your fear of how you're seen is bigger. Like the whole idea of like, I'm pretty sure personal development made up a lot of our diseases and problems we have. Like, you've got a fear of success. You've got a fear of failure. We don't know we have that. Like, I didn't know I had ADD. Like, literally, I was bored in school, and then now I'm diagnosed with ADD. Like, so you are uncomfortable selling, so you buy into the idea that you're not good at this. So what's happening is your body doesn't want you to be good at sales, because if you did get good at sales, you'd actually get what you wanted and the old you would die. That's what people don't recognize. So your story, your bullshit dies. So you've said it's like a woman can't figure out why she can't get pregnant. You've been on birth control for 20 years. You've told everyone you don't want to get pregnant. Of course your body doesn't want to get pregnant. Do you know what I'm saying? You've been telling yourself don't get pregnant. I know that's not true with everybody, but the same thing, like if you're overweight your whole life and then you get skinny, a lot of people get uncomfortable with it and gain the weight back because it's uncomfortable for them. So if I were to help somebody really get over it and I was working with them, number one is you got to own it. I would say immediately, like I teach people, go join Toastmasters immediately and get out there and start speaking. You need to get time with people and get in front of people. You need to also call your local church, Temple Kiwanis Club, go, can I donate time? I will make calls to all the members. If you really want it, you'll do what salespeople do, and they work on sales. And that's what a lot of people, you're not going to happen overnight, but it can happen pretty damn quickly, is to change that part of your identity. Like if you want to get good at tennis, well, you need lessons and you need a coach and you got to get in there and you've got to change your perspective of it. That's what people don't get. Like you don't just magically go, I'm a salesperson. You have to literally get in there and you have to actually make it part of your new identity. I hope that answered the question. I'm not wanting to skate around any of this. So if you didn't get
definitely answered the question. I think that was incredible advice. What I loved about what you said the most is the fact that you can change. If you want to change bad enough, you can change. Yes. If you take a close look at the story that you've been telling yourself for basically ever. I mean,
Forever.
for you since you're a kid, you're telling yourself that you're not a scorer, that you're not going to score, that you're not going to be the person to make the goal. And here you are, and you flip that around.
At 41 years old, and I'm playing with better people than I did in high school, I have every reason to not have been able to flip that. And I flipped it because I said to myself, I use the same techniques I used in everything else. And here I am, I know better. And I realized all it is a series of stories. Your inability to sell is a series of stories backed by other references and stories, backed by, your mom told you, like I had a kid once that I worked with that thought he was stupid, right? And I said, why do you think you're stupid? He goes, well, my teacher told me I was dumb in front of the whole class. Well, that's traumatic, right? And I go, well, who told you to trust teachers? My parents. Well, who told you to trust your parents? Everybody. So I'm like, well, of course you think you're stupid. You have a series of references and a peak emotional experience. Well, you might as well roll with that unless we can get you to realize how stupid that is that you think you're stupid. And that's another game.
I love that. I love it. So the other day you were taking me on a little tour of your place, right? And I saw a sign that said, decide and do.
Yes.
What's that all about? Is it that simple? Like make a decision and then just freaking do it?
It really is. I mean, I think we have like mysteries. Like I remember I was working on my book and I said, this is not fun. My wife said, who said it had to be? Like, I think we think like we're waiting for divine interventions to come into our life before we decide. I studied enough and worked with enough Navy SEALs in my life that they're really great at what they do because they have the ability they have made so many quick decisions in their life, punched in the face, beat down, screwed up. They've just accepted. They've made 1,000 decisions that now they are accurate as hell because they just know what a good decision is. Like decision making is an actual art and it's something you can get better at. Like communication. A lot of people don't recognize like you could actually be an incredible decision maker.
So how do you get better? Just make more decisions faster?
You make them instantly. Where do you want to eat? You just play a little game. Like, where do you want to eat? Quick, pick. Stop thinking. Pick. Go. Pick.
Cousins.
Great. What are you going to get there? Pick.
Steak.
It's closed. Where else are we going?
Osteria.
You getting where I'm going with this?
I get it, man.
And if we don't make it food related, what are you going to wear tomorrow? Quick.
Jeans and a t-shirt
that
says
hesitation?
average sucks.
Yeah, you see the hesitation? I love it. That's good marketing, right? So the whole context is if you could literally practice making decisions, it's like bicep. It's a muscle. And the more you practice decision making, the better you get at it and you start reading things. Like I've learned there's only about 5 or 6 different people you're ever going to run into in this world. I know who they are. I know the scenarios. And
5 or 6 different people you could.
That's it. There's like different, like if you own a gym, there are like 5 or 6 different people that are going to run it. You got the BSer, you got the big talker, you got the guy that'll surprise you. Do you know what I'm saying? You've got the you got the quitter, you've got the one-hit wonder. Like you got all these different people. There's only like 6 of them. Stop being alarmed by it. There's only like 5 or 6 personalities that people have. And when you can start making quick decisions and accepting that it's something you can get better at. So that's one of the things we teach in our company, decide and do. If you want to change your mind, you can do that fine. I didn't say we're pouring concrete. Make a decision. If you don't want to do it anymore, make a new decision.
That's absolutely fantastic.
And that builds confidence.
That's amazing. I love it. I'm going to be practicing that tonight. You know, the minute that I get out of here and my wife says, what do we have for dinner? It's going to be 1, 2, 3. I'm going to be practicing that right away.
Pasta.
1, 2, 3.
And then if she's like, you're like, I don't want that. And she's like, that's what you're having. You're like, fine, that's what I'm having.
So, Mike, you know, running out of time here, how do people get in touch with you? Because I'm sure we're going to have plenty of people listening to this that are like, I'm ready to make a change. I'm ready to make a difference. I'm ready to cross over that line. How do I get in touch with Michael Bernoff?
Well, you can always find me, michaelbernoff.com. That's very simple. Communicategreat.com. Let's just send you there. It's easier to spell. Communicategreat.com. People are like, how do you spell Michael? And before we were putting the show together, I figured I want to give everybody a simple gift. So if everybody's got a phone, I'll give you a quick number, a text that I put together a training on how to accelerate your average and how to create what I call non-negotiables in your life, how to be more productive. I built a very simple training for you that I wanted to give to everybody. And it's all you have to do is send Max, like it MAX, because I know that means a lot to you, Max to this phone number, 480-800-8051. No dots, nothing, just Max. 480-800-8051. I will give you access and a special gift at the end if you're serious about it. Nothing to buy, nothing to do, free training on me, and there's an extra bonus at the end of that video you're going to love. So 480-800-8051. Send Max to that number, and that will be a really great gift for all of you, and you will love, love, love the video I created for you. You'll love the training.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for providing everybody with that fantastic gift. I'm jacked out of my skull. I'm ready to run through a brick wall here. Really excited. And listen, everybody, thank you again, Michael.
Thank you.
Don't forget, take it to the max.
Love it.
See you all next time.